Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Base Paths and Brewskis. Today is episode 24. We're going to be summing up the Detroit series, where it is apparent that you can have shit in Detroit, contrary to popular belief that you can't have shit in Detroit. You can ignore the picture of Dom. He will not be joining us today, sadly. Um, should be back soon, though. So it'll just be a solo episode from me where the 36 and 26 Brewers traveled to the 31 and 31 Detroit Tigers to face off in, I believe, Comerica Park is still the name of the stadium there. Let's just double check that. But anyway, yes, it is. The beer of the pod today is water. Just started a 72-hour fast that will last until Wednesday night around 6 o'clock, pretty much 6 o'clock exactly. Um, yeah, so kind of excited about that. Um, yeah, just gonna have some water tonight. Had a lot of drinks this weekend. A lot of busy moving parts going on. A lot of moving, getting ready to move to Green Bay. So yeah, busy with that for sure. First game was a 10-0 win from the Brewers. Um, pretty pretty good result from Milwaukee. Um, getting to take this one, a pretty dominant game. Haley's interrupting like normal. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. She's wearing her cute little pajamas, so too bad we don't have a camera on. I could show off, but yeah, they probably can't hear what you just said. But all right, love you. See ya. All right, sorry about that interruption. Obviously the 10-0 score in the first game was fantastic as a Brewers fan to see. Player of the game, Tobias Myers. A lot of people arguing, probably could have went out for that ninth inning. He ended the game with 100 pitches, threw 8 innings, gave up 1 hit, 3 walks. Getting up there in walks a bit. 5 strikeouts though. Definitely dropped his ERA back down from where it had been. Overall, though, just I mean, everyone really was kind of hitting well. Blake Perkins, 2 triples. I don't believe he had a triple in his career until this game, and then he ends up having two. Knocked in a lot of runs. William Contreras had a 2 RBIs. Bryce Terang with a 4-hit game, 2 RBIs as well from him. Yelich was 3 for 3 with a walk. I mean, there was a lot of good going on in this game, but I think it's definitely important to focus on Tobias Myers. It seemed like whenever he was in trouble, he was able to get ground balls, get easy outs. Um, he really had a good game plan of throwing first pitch strikes. I think 21, I believe I heard it was 21 of his 27 batters faced or something like to that degree was first pitch strikes. Getting ahead early 0-1 is a huge thing as a pitcher. That was like the first thing I remember hearing being taught pitching when I was a kid was that the best pitch is strike one. Getting ahead or, if you did fall behind, getting that first strike is super important. So he definitely was working that, and I mean, great success. Had 8 innings, definitely topped his career high, which I won't spoil because that'll be part of the quiz coming up later. Um, yeah, 100 pitches. I think obviously he probably could have gone out and tried the ninth inning, but say he goes out and gives up a 2-run home run or something, then it just comes out. Like, I don't know. I think it's probably a lot more fun celebrating ending on a high note. 8 innings of shutout pitching is pretty cool. And then James Meeker ended up getting to make his debut, which I believe his big league debut. Let me just fact check that quick. James Meeker. Yeah, 1 game. So obviously cool thing for him. Ended up giving up a hit and a walk, but still got out of it without any runs. So yeah, I think we kind of shut down the Tigers in this game for sure. Really not super interesting. I kind of had that blow up second inning where we scored 5 runs on Reese Olson, who used to be part of the Brewers organization, has been a fantastic pitcher all year, and 8 earned runs on him, I don't think at all is a sign of the kind of pitcher he is. So really tough for him, tough day. It seems like we've been giving these real hot pitchers tough time lately. Shota Imanaga comes to mind. Some of those White Sox pitchers have been having decent seasons and kind of took it to them as well. So it definitely seems that we get good pitchers and we're able to do some damage against them. Tanner Houck comes to mind. We won the game against him as well, I believe. So yeah, a lot of dudes that have been hot this season on the mound or having breakout seasons. We've been able to kind of smack around the yard a little bit. So really, that's kind of it. Cool getting to see Joey Ortiz at shortstop. I know Dom was pretty excited about that. He shot me a text as soon as that happened. But this one, yeah, Brewers took it early. They really ran away with this one. It was nice seeing a shutout, and I believe I'm 99% sure this is like we've had we lead the league in 10 plus run games without hitting a home run, which is cool to see considering that the home run was such a big part of the Brewers' past offensive strategy. It really was based on can we, can we, go out there, hit the long ball, and score a majority of our offense that way, which we haven't needed this year. I mean, we've had many games where we've had double digit runs without hitting home runs, and just I think we have the most double digit games in general. So a legitimately top offense in the league this year. So great to see. 5-4 win for the Brewers in game two. Um, this one got a lot more interesting for sure. Jackson Chourio busted it open in the seventh inning, giving us the lead on a 2-run double that he hit, which was really exciting to see. The extra base power from him. It's been a bit of a roller coaster of a season for him with the 604 OPS, playing left field this game, kind of batting down in that ninth hole, eighth, ninth spot pretty consistently. Excuse me. Freddie Peralta, tough game, not what we're used to seeing with him, giving up 3 runs, 4 runs, excuse me, 3 earned, 5 walks, 4 hits, only striking out 3. Definitely was not his day. Just didn't seem to have much command over his pitches. I know there was one instance where threw kind of a meatball to Javi Baez, who, I mean, you could pretty much, as long as you throw it towards the plate, and not towards second base or first base. Well, first base he'd maybe swing still. He seems to chase quite a bit, and once elite player has definitely um, fallen upon some hard times as a hitter, to put it nicely. And I mean, just he even looked like a fairly competent batter against um, Freddie, and that's not what we're used to seeing. So that was a little concerning. But the 4 total runs given up by him, 3 earned, and then the bullpen was able to come in and do their thing. And I mean, it's kind of been a thing in Brewers community talking about how we basically take every reliever and turn him into a high leverage, solid reliever. Jared Koenig, a solid reliever. I thought. Hold on a minute. Oh, we totally skipped over his player spotlight. I'll go get that at the end. But Jared Koenig, inning and 2/3 with 2 strikeouts, followed by Enoli Paredes, 2/3 of an inning with a strikeout, gave up a hit, but whatever. Brian Hudson came in inning and a third and did Brian Hudson things, striking out 3 guys. That tall lefty cross body firing, like awkward delivery, especially if you're a lefty in that order. Yoel Payams came in for an inning and struck out 2, and Trevor McGill filled it up at the end. Not to, I mean, a dude who was DFA'd by the Twins and last season, I believe, ends up being our closer now. I mean, what a career arc for some of these guys, and it just goes to show how solid our player development is, and the scouting department we have, and their ability to search for talent is pretty incredible. So Casey Mize was the starter for Detroit. Been having a decent season as well, a very respectable season. He ended up giving up the fifth and final run total. Um, yeah, only 1K for him. Definitely a contact-based pitcher. I'm not ultra familiar with Casey Mize's game, but again, Jackson Churrio's hit was huge. Christian Yelich once again, kind of being that leader, delivering. Would like to see a little more out of Reese. This series a bit quieter from what I saw and noticed. Sal Frelick put together a couple of hits. Bryce Terang also put together a couple hits and a walk. Just a lot of dudes having some good series up to this point and just adding on to their season in general. I think this Freddie game though was kind of a make or break for him in a way. He had been on a bit of a slump. His last 5 starts haven't been the most pretty necessarily. Let's take a look. We have the May 17th start in Houston. That's where it started to kind of take a bit of a dip with giving up 5 runs. Then pitched in against Miami, had the 7 innings where he eventually got ejected. Had only given up 1 run through 7 innings. Came back against Chicago, went 5 and 2/3, gave up only one run, which is also very good. But still, just 5 and 2/3 from a guy who you expect to be your ace. If he's only giving up 1 run, throwing 111 pitches, where I mean, he did max out with a fastball. I think he had his fastest pitch of possibly his career, pitch like 105 or something like that game. So that was pretty cool. But then the Chicago White Sox game gave up 3 runs to them in just 5 innings, and then this was a bit of a quote. I don't even really want to call it, but for a Freddie Peralta start, a blow up start, I guess I would consider it. So somewhat concerning on that end for sure from Freddie. But hopefully we can see a bounce back from him. I'm not sure exactly where he'd be scheduled to start. Let's see if he pitched here. Oh, so if he's the fifth day in this Reds series, I would guess, which is in Milwaukee. So that'd be fun. The Reds are kind of a hot team on our tails right now for sure. Starting to give some chase as now the second team in the division behind us, 6.5 games behind, and the last place team is also only 7.5 games, so not big separation. 1 game from first and or from second and last place, excuse me, while we still sit with a commanding lead up top. Anyway, Jackson Chourio, player of the game for that 2 RBI double, gave us the win with that. And I mean, I could have given it to the bullpen, but if I wanted to pick out one specific player, I think that was a huge moment for Chourio. The game three, I keep doing this when we lose. I must be in denial. We lost 2-10. The graphic on screen says 10-2. That we won. We lost this game. It must not compute with me to put that we lost. Which I maybe it's some kind of coping mechanism. I don't know. I have not been diagnosed with anything yet. Um, Not a great game from us. Never good when you see Jake Bowers in the stat line as a or the box score as a pitcher. Um, that's not always super cool. Went up against a probably the AL Cy Young favorite right now, Tarek Skubal. Thought that's such a cool way of saying that. Tarek Skubal, pretty cool name there. 10 strikeouts for him, only 2 walks. Did give up 5 hits, but just really nothing concerning. Kind of went back to our ways of not being able to do much with runners on base, and that's always concerning. This was, I mean, Adames playing. It was William Contreras' first day off all season. Him and William Contreras and Willie Adames in game 2 of this series broke the record for most consecutive games started by a duo to start the season by a pair of teammates. So they broke that record, and then Contreras got his day off with the nagging finger injury that he's been dealing with. And just really in general has kind of been cooling off. I think I want to say in his last near 100 like plate appearances, I think he's like at a 250 on base percentage, which is not what we had gotten used to seeing from him. His season totals as of now still leads the league in the NL in runs, and still sports an OPS of 851, but it's definitely come down. Just looking over his last 5 games, he's been okay, I guess, but not a lot of more frustrating at bats, and he looks a lot more frustrated out there. So nice seeing him get a day off, even though we did get our asses handed to us. Um, Bryce Wilson not can't have starts like that. Plunking dudes. I mean, just really a tough watch. Giving up hits, walks, 4 1/3, and it's tough when he's kind of our third starter when Robert Gasser is now potentially facing Tommy John surgery. Hobie Milner wasn't able to record an out, and then Hernandez, never heard of this dude, came in an inning and 2/3, and I don't even know who this dude is if I'm being honest. I kind of didn't watch once this started happening, but yeah, it looks like Ellie. Oh no, who is this dude? I cannot find this guy to save my life. Um, Whoever Hernandez is, inning and 2/3 without giving up a run is pretty solid. But I mean, it was kind of garbage time, honestly. Uh, Eliezer Hernandez, is he not even updated in Baseball Reference? That's weird. I don't doesn't seem to be updating in Baseball Reference that he is a Brewer. So, or his stat line. Interesting. And then Herget pitched an inning, struck out a guy, solid, but I mean, like once again, wasn't getting fantastic at bats, but against him, people were kind of ready to be done with the series. Jake Bowers came in, walked someone, and yeah, I mean, it was kind of an ugly game. I think this goes to show more of the point I was hoping to talk about with this game, besides Bryce Terang kind of being the only somewhat bright spot on the team this game offensively. Him and Andrew Monasterio, who played his first game at first base today, which was kind of cool. Kind of becoming a ultra utility guy for us, which with a 521 OPS, I'd hope that he brings at least that to the table. I love Andrew, but I mean that OPS is really starting to struggle, and especially when you guys have guys like Tyler Black knocking on the door, ready to come up, and Brock Wilken, potential guy eventually who could make his way up here. It's tough seeing dudes like that consistently out there, but at least with that stat line. But kind of what I wanted to get into is a bit of the starting pitchers, potential guys who could be on the block to trade for. I know Jeff Passan had released kind of a early trade deadline preview, which really, I don't have a good look at. Because you have to you have to subscribe to it on ESPN. Um, but I think the Brewers definitely are kind of flipping compared to what the status they're at normally. Usually it's, oh, Brewers need to go get a hitter. Brewers need to go get a hitter. And this season, I just don't think we really have the space for a hitter, especially with certain guys like Garrett Mitchell coming back into the lineup. Um, I don't think we really have room for that. But I mean, there's a couple pitchers who could potentially be on the move. Um, first guy that comes to mind for me is like Garrett Crochet. Um, let's see. I'm just kind of looking through a list right now. Trevor Williams. He seems like he could definitely be a Brewer guy. I know Jesus Luzardo. There's talks of him, which that's different because he'd be a 2.5 year guy. So probably a lot of investment going on there. Don't necessarily even think we need bullpen arms. I definitely think we just need the starter, like an Eric Fetty potentially. Another one of those White Sox guys. Jack Flaherty potentially, but that's kind of a longer term deal. Tyler Anderson is another guy who's on the block. Bassett's more of an expensive dude. Jordan Montgomery, can't see us going after that. Sonny Gray, too many years left. Max Scherzer, too much. Some of these names on here is crazy. Blake Snell, that'd be kind of a fun one. Can't believe that he would necessarily be going. But you never know. And there's some cool bats out there, which is neat. Luis Robert Jr., however you say it, he's on the block for sure. Vladdy, I've heard him and Bichette could be moved. But I think Jesus Luzardo would definitely be the coolest option. It seems like more of a Brewers move considering he has 2 ARB left. So that could be neat to see a solid lefty like that coming into the rotation. But especially with how the Miami Marlins have played this year, don't have much of a use for him. In terms of the series awards, I'm going to say Tobias Myers is the MVP, crafty pitcher, and a series award unique to this series, in honor of Pat Sajak retiring from Wheel of Fortune. Spin that bitch, Tobias Myers, just absolutely spinning the ball out there and got 8 innings worth of outs without giving up a run. So big props to him. He should definitely be chugging some beers after that one. But the barrel blaster I gave to Churio. I think there's other guys like Perkins who deserved it, but the clutch double, it's got to be a confidence booster. Always looking to give Churio the benefit of the doubt. So I had to give him the barrel blaster. But let's rewind it a bit to the player spotlight that I mistakenly skipped over at the beginning of the episode. 30-year-old Jared Koenig, who has a pitching run value of 9, which is 92nd percentile, a 95th percentile with his fastball run value, while his breaking and off speed stuff is pretty neutral at 53 and 54 percentile, respectively. His expected ERA is in the 79th percentile at a 3.08. Cool stat. Expecting batting average is a 225, 71st percentile. I don't see. Is there a BABIP anywhere? BABIP is, if you're unaware, batting average on balls in play. So typically, like a high BABIP means that you're just hitting it where they ain't. Essentially, it's yeah, pitchers who have a high BABIP, it's typically then you can kind of credit maybe a lack of a solid ERA to unluckiness or poor fielding. Just kind of a breakdown of that stat a little bit. A 5.3% walk percentage from Koenig and a 51.9% ground ball. I think those are stats that between him and Robert Gasser, who we've reviewed as lefties, were both very high and have definitely contributed to their success. 27 and 2/3 innings from him, in which he has a whip of 1.048, round up to 1.05, basically meaning a walk or a hit every inning he pitches, while the 1.95 ERA is pretty incredible. So he has started 4 games for us as an opener in his 20 appearances, only giving up 2 home runs. I think that's huge, considering if you give up a home run, you're at least giving up a run, whereas even extra base hits, you have the chance to strand the runner or make a nice play in the field. So 0.7 home runs per 9, 2.0 walks per 9, and 7.2 strikeouts per 9. Definitely elevating his numbers. And Brewers pitching lab kicking the ass once again. So B&B trivia will go on June 7th. Tobias Myers in game 1 of the series threw 8 scoreless innings, surpassing his previous career high of blank innings pitched in 1 game. Is it A, 4 2/3, B, 4 1/3, C, 5 1/3, or D, 5 innings flat? Take a second to think of your answer here for good old Toby Myers. And that's correct. He surpassed his previous career high of 5 innings pitched in 1 game. So almost doubled. I mean, it's pretty incredible that he'd only thrown 5 innings before. I think that was like 80 some pitches, 70 some pitches too. So ended up throwing 100 on the dot in this game and went 8 scoreless. So congrats to Toby. The Brewers will face the Blue Jays back at American Family Field. Believe the series starts tomorrow, which will be today when you're listening to this episode. So yeah, I'm excited about that. A Monday series opening in Milwaukee. Projected pitchers look to be Jose Berrios and Colin Ray, who both sport some pretty respectable ERAs at 2.8 for Berrios and Colin Ray with a 3.53. So excited about that first pitching matchup, and hopefully the Brewers can really take it to the Blue Jays, who I believe sit 4th or 5th in the American League East, which is very competitive. If you have any beers you've been dying to try, if you have a go-to beer that I need to try, comment or reach out on any of the socials listed below with what I should drink next. And to wrap this up, a little bit different ending than normal. The B&B plays I wanted to advertise. I might be doing some live streaming on YouTube of some different games or possibly some out of the park stuff. I recommend to go watch, if you have Peacock, the Yankees documentary. It's about the 1990 Yankees. And I kind of wanted to do a little live stream series based on that and kind of rebuilding that starting in 1991 on Out of the Park. So it's a potential idea. So thank you for listening, everybody, and have a good rest of your night. Enjoy the Blue Jays series, and I hope you have a great week. See you later.